For me, my number one role on the planet is being a father, is to be a good dad, and I do the best job I can. I'm not perfect, but I do the best job that I can. After that, I'm a husband, and then after that, I'm an employer, a leader, an entrepreneur, and everything else that comes with it. Well, I think, really what it comes down to more than anything else is having an unwavering thirst and a zest for wanting to serve. There's only one Gary Vaynerchuk, right? There's only one Avi. There's only one Chris. There's only one Sir Richard Branson. Don't try and copy all those other people. Just be yourself at all times. And that uniqueness is enough to be able to attract, enough to separate the players from the bench warmers. Avi, hey, how are you?
Very well, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you again, my friend. Everything good?
Listen, Chris, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this venture, which is the venture which my girls and I are doing together. Unfortunately, together, so that we all join in from different parts of the world. And I let my elder one is Raya, younger Aviana. I'm going to let Raya start her.
Perfect.
So I heard a little bit about YOUPRENEUR and your blog and your podcast. So, for anyone watching who they feel like, oh, let me take a rest, or I'm not going to get there anyways, how do you get to a place where you want to create something big? Some people say you have to reach pit bottom, but what's a little bit about your story? What is one thing for anyone watching that's a mental strategy that you do?
Well, I think, really what it comes down to more than anything else is having an unwavering thirst and a zest for wanting to serve other people. I think if you come as an entrepreneur, if you come at business in general with that mentality of having that thirst and that zest for wanting to ultimately help and provide solutions to people's problems, then long term you can't lose. I genuinely believe that you can't lose if you're coming from that sort of place. Those that become very successful have that in abundance in my mindset. And we're not about the quick buck. We're not about, get rich quick schemes or anything like that. Everything we do at any of our businesses is always about serving our customers first and then selling later, and always and only ever selling solutions directly to problems that they are experiencing in one way, shape or form. So I think, again, it really just comes back, it'll always come back to the core of what we do, and that is ultimately serving our customers.
I love that.
So my question is, how do you balance out family time, but also hustling hard or working with your business, improving your business?
Yeah, well, I want to, that word you used just there is a word that gets thrown around a lot, right? Hustle. Everybody talks about hustling, right? And I think, honestly, it's just a bit of a cool buzzword. I don't think it really means anything other than just working hard. And that's nothing new for me. I've been doing that for 15 years since I started building businesses. So in regards to, that work-life balance that we're all, anybody that has a family, regardless of the size of that family, balancing between work and life, the fact of the matter is it'll always come down to priorities, right? It'll always come down to what the biggest priority is. And if if my daughter wants me to, read a story to her, before dinner or after dinner or after breakfast or in the middle of the afternoon, or if she wants to do face painting or anything like that, because I'm blessed to be able to be in the position where I can work from home, then, I will always, if I can, make priority and time for her, because she's blood, she's family, she's everything. The same with my son or my other daughter, whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. So I think it really comes down to priorities, first and foremost. And for me, my number one role on the planet is being a father. After that, I'm a husband. And then after that, I'm an employer, a leader, an entrepreneur, and everything else that comes with it. So it's priorities. I know my first and my most important role in life, and that is to be a good dad. And I do the best job I can. I'm not perfect, but I do the best job that I can. And so there's the big secret there is just, it all comes down to prioritization, more than anything else.
With anything, honestly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just like when I'm in work mode, right? Like I'm zoned in, like everything else around me does not exist. If there's something on my schedule, it's going to get done, plain and simple. But when I'm not at work, I'm not like this all the time, right? With my family sitting around in the family room watching movies or something like that, even if it's Frozen and I've seen it 100 times because my kids are crazy for the movie, I'm not, I'm there with Elsa and Anna, like I'm right there, baby. I'm not, it's not about kind of switching, my focuses. When you're there, it's that simple.
Dad, were you able to join?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm still choppy, but I'm here. Chris, you speak about a human being being the face of the brand. You talk about being a youpreneur. There are so many people who are underconfident at times. They're not very comfortable putting themselves out as the name, as the face of the brand. How would you help those kind of people?
Well, the fact is that if you're really not that comfortable with this as a business model, being the main focus of that business model, then maybe this business model is not for you. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because there are plenty of other business models that are out there that don't have to have you as the face of the business. I will say though, if you decide that it is the type of model that you want to go after, and it is the kind of business that you want to build, then you've got to lean into your uniqueness factors more so than anything else. Like, there's only one Gary Vaynerchuk, right? There's only one Avi. There's only one Chris. There's only one Sir Richard Branson. Like, don't try and copy all those other people. Like, just be yourself at all times. And that uniqueness is enough to be able to attract the right people into your ecosystem, the people that should be there. And at the very same time, it's almost like a magnet. I call this marketing like a magnet, where you attract the right people, and just like a magnet, at the same time, it'll repel away all that negative energy and the wrong people. You don't want those people in your ecosystem, in your business, in your life. You don't want any kind of negativity, which is why it's very important to lean into your strengths as an entrepreneur and not so much on your weaknesses, right? Like, I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, I'm taking a sabbatical next month. I'm gonna kind of strengthen my weaknesses. Don't do that. That's a waste of your time and energy. You delegate the stuff that you're kind of crappy at. You don't try and figure out how to be better at it. You just do what you're really good at, right? You do what you're really good at, and then you don't worry so much about your weaknesses. So I think the uniqueness factor is there. If this is the model, then lean into it, but be you all the time. Don't try and copy or emulate somebody else.
Lovely, love that. So your mission, your book, your yearly event, where you have people, thousands of people coming from different parts of the world and saying, I want to come for this event, is obviously because you built a brand around yourself. It's you, it's about your family, about your values, it's about who you are. And people who know you really well, who've read the book, and I know so many people, they're like, I'm going because I love Chris. And you're saying that happens because you've continued to viciously be yourself for so many years, despite everything else. And that's where people who need to come into your funnel come in.
That's right. And not only deciding to be me, but being me unapologetically, right? Like just not pulling back on it at all, because I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like, and that I'm absolutely okay with that, right? I'm absolutely fine with it. You know, it's like a lot of people they're either tea drinkers or they're coffee drinkers. Like they have their go-to mid-afternoon kind of beverage, right? It's either tea or coffee. It's very rarely going to flip-flop between one or the other. Well, if you're into coffee, I'm your man. I'm a coffee guy. I'm one of the main Brits that is vocal about the fact that I actually prefer coffee over tea, which gets me into some pretty hot debates here in England from time to time. But I genuinely do believe that being unapologetically you is the secret, the big secret here, because what happens is you end up becoming people's favorite, right? People's favorite podcaster or their favorite YouTuber or their favorite gamer or their favorite live streamer or their favorite Instagrammer or TikToker, even if that's a thing, I don't know. Like whatever it is, you become their favorite. And that's what we want to do. We want to become somebody's favorite. That's the big secret right there, because once you do that, they will travel from all around the world to London for a conference, or they will buy your online course or your book when it comes out, or your record or your video or whatever it is, right? So we want to become somebody's favorite. That's the key.
Wow, okay. Okay, I'll go for my next question. So, I personally started vlogging this year, and my message kind of related to you to always be yourself and self-love. So I kind of spread that in every video. So for all the teenagers watching this, what is your advice towards them going through high school? You know, when people are always judging themselves to other people, they feel like they're not good enough. Or what is your advice to them?
Well, you know, 9 times out of 10, when somebody is like that to you, they've got their own issues that they're dealing with themselves, right? That's just fact right there. They're putting out that negativity on somebody else because they're dealing with their own negative thoughts individually. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad as a person, but it just means that that's their way of handling their own insecurities or their own confidence issues or whatever it might be, right? My advice, 9 times out of 10, when somebody is like that, my advice would be to just flatly ignore them, to not rise to the bait, to not bite back, to not, try and gossip or talk badly about them just because they with you or whatever the case may be. Like, be the bigger person. Just turn away and turn around and walk away, if you can do that. Either that or you just actually befriend them, like actually take them under your wing and find out a little bit more about them and what makes them tick. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, when somebody is negative like that towards you, it's because they're harboring their own issues and maybe they need a friend,
Yeah, awesome. Amanda, what's your next question?
Yeah, so my next question is, we use the term internet moguls a lot. So the definition of an internet mogul for us is someone who spends quality time with their family, but also works hard and tries to improve their business. So what would your definition of an internet mogul be?
I think it's somebody, and there's nothing wrong with your definition. I think it's a great one. As a true blue entrepreneur myself, I think, that there's my definition would probably be somebody who is utilizing the internet and all of the bells and the whistles attached to it. So social media, websites, live streaming, all that kind of stuff to ultimately, create, grow, build, and serve a community in some way, shape or form. Like, Raya, you just said that you started vlogging recently. I'm assuming that's over on YouTube. It's where all the cool vloggers hang out. And you know what, like that's you doing exactly that. That's you creating and growing and building your own community of subscribers and fans and followers that are all about you and what you're all like. You are their favorite vlogger right now. Like, and you want to sort of try and keep that in their heads as well, which is why I don't vlog. It's too tiring, right? Like you've got to come up with stuff all the time. Like, what am I going to vlog about today kind of thing? But you know what, for the younger generation, that's definitely the way forward. You know, I got a 25-year-old son. I got a 22-year-old son. I've got an 11-year-old son, and I've got a 22-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old son, and I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter. And they're all big vlog fans. They love all the vlog stuff, right? So I think it really comes down to using the internet for good, to serving that community, you know?
Yeah, right. Okay, so I don't think Dad can connect, so I'll go over. So strategy-wise, what is one helpful strategy tip you would tell those people who they want to start a company, they want to start a blog like yours, but you know they're struggling to make their first kind of profits, they're in debt. What strategy would you tell them to use?
You know, you got to show up. You know, you have to show up over and over and over again. That consistency is absolutely key to any kind of success that you might have. You know, just because it might not bring in those sales or bring in all those retweets or those mentions or likes, whatever the piece of content that is that you're creating, just because it might not fly straight away and take off straight away doesn't mean that it's not going to take off tomorrow or next week or next month, which is why the consistency is key. I mean, you gotta feed the beast, right? Like you've got to feed that content beast and consistently be showing up, consistently be publishing content. And by the way, it's not too late to start. Like a lot of people will say, is it too late to start on YouTube, or is it too late to start on TikTok, or whatever it might be? No, it's absolutely not too late in any way, shape or form, because there are people that are out there that are gonna like your vibe and they're gonna wanna be part of your tribe, which is why you need to show up consistently. That's the biggest piece of advice, whether you're just starting out actually, or whether you've been doing this for a long, long time like me, which is why I have no hair left. Like regardless of what it is, you've gotta show up. You've gotta be consistent all the time. That's the big, big, big key.
That's right. Yeah, my mom says that as well. You know, we're like, oh, we don't want to go to dance class, something. She's like, just show up. Show up.
Yeah, you gotta, and that's actually enough. That's enough to separate the players from the bench warmers, to use a basketball analogy. I'm a big basketball fan. So that's the way to, like, you know, when you think about all of the big, you know, the big basketball players, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all these big players, they got to where they got to because they showed up consistently every single time they're on the floor. The bench warmers, they didn't show up so much, which is why they're on the bench and not on the floor. You know, you got to show up.
Awesome.
The girls and I had a couple of conversations with Pat Flynn, who I know is a very good friend of yours.
Oh yeah, okay, great.
And he said, you know what, girls, I love Facebook, I love all of that, but do focus on the email list, because that's what you own and that's where you nurture relationships and all of that. Yeah. So what is Chris Ducker's, if there is one, favorite social media to be able to connect more intimately with his fans and followers? Because I starting to interrupt, but I always see every time that you come up with a product or a service or a launch or whatever, the confidence that I see in your videos to say this is what's happening, and the eagerness of your audience to say, you know what, I was just waiting for you to say this and I'm coming in, I'm getting in.
Right.
So,
well, there's a big secret there. And it's not so much of a secret because I talk about it all the time. The reason why the eagerness is there is because we never launch anything, we never do anything unless we know It's what our customers and our audience actually wants and needs. That's the big thing. And we do that by talking to our customers, by surveying them regularly, by engaging with them on social as much as we possibly can. And I cannot stress this enough. It's okay when you're starting out. And Raya, I'll use you as an example here, because you were quite forthright in saying that you just started a YouTube channel. Like right now, what you're doing is you're creating content that you think your YouTube viewers will want to see from you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the key word in that sentence is the word think, okay? 6 months down the line, what will happen is, if you've been consistent and you've been lucky enough to grow a good audience of people that love you, and there's no doubt that they will, at that point, they will start telling you through their comments, through their tweets, or through the connections on Instagram, or whatever it is that you do with them, they will start telling you what they actually want to see from you. So right now you're doing what you think they want, but later on they'll tell you what they really, really want. And then it's down to you to make a decision. You can either A, ignore them, and you can do that at your own growth and financial peril as a business owner, right? Or B, you can listen to them and start delivering exactly what they want. And there lies the key to the eagerness whenever we put something new out. It's because we know people want it. And we survey our audience, our main audience, 2 times a year, and then we survey segmented parts of that audience at least another 2 times a year as well. So these are the segmented, the smaller chunks of the list will be, 5,000 people, 8,000 people, whatever it might be, who are consistently opening our emails, clicking on the links, buying certain products, people that we know, for want of a better term, have got a little bit of skin in the game, and they actually want to buy, and they want to learn, they want to help. And your audience actually will end up shaping what your business becomes long term. And that's the beautiful thing about growing an audience. But understand, when you have that audience in place via email, on YouTube, any other platform for that matter, it's a privilege. Like, it's not a gimme, it's a privilege to have an audience like that. So you have to serve them. You've got to show up over and over again. And I think that, Pat's a good example of somebody who puts his audience first in everything that he does, just like we do at YOUPRENEUR, and just like many, many other successful people do online as well. But yes, without a doubt, you've got to get them on your email list, because it's all very well and good having a big following on TikTok or YouTube or somewhere like that, but you don't own that platform. What you're fundamentally doing is growing your business on rented land right there. And you don't want to do that. That's a recipe for disaster right there. So you've got to get to the point of getting them off of those other platforms that you should use, but you want to get them off that platform and onto your email list always, as much as you can.
Got it. Lovely. So, from your book to what you say at your events to how you answer questions on podcasts, it just seems that it's a principle. It's something that you actually believe in, and therefore it's consistent. How important is it for personal brands who will be watching this interview or wanting to become personal brands to A, be consistent with their message, and B, how do they find their consistency? Because a lot of people are trying to understand who they are in the first place.
Well, I think it's everything. I was talking to Raya about it when you were having a few connection issues. That consistency is key, not just in regards to obviously showing up and creating content that your audience is going to like and consume and share, but also the consistency in the messaging behind everything you do as well. If you're flip-flopping and pivoting and changing your direction all the time as a business owner, it's going to be very, very hard to attract an audience that is going to love everything that you do, because they don't know what's happening. One minute you're coming, the next minute you're going, right? So I think the consistency of the verbiage that you use, the language that you use, I'm not saying bad language, good language, I'm talking about words, phrases. I'll say things like, you must be seen to sell. I've been quoted on that a gazillion times. I might say, you must charge what you're worth. Again, being charged, being quoted on that and tweeted on that over and over and over again. So it's things like that, like just because somebody might discover you today, it doesn't mean that they're going to watch every single thing that you do for the next 12 months, which is why that consistency, when they do pick you back up again, oh, I remember last time I saw this guy on YouTube, he said something like that before. That really resonated, and it resonates again now. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to buy the book. I'm going to click on the link to the course, whatever it might be. So that consistency, not just in showing up and providing value, but also in the things that you say and the way that you say them is very important.
It's the first time I've heard that. That is so powerful. You know what we do, the girls and I, every time that we start a video together and we send a video to someone, even the video that we sent on your email, when we reach out to people, we say, hi, my name is Abhi, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. And me and my daughters are on a mission to create an online school, which is a family school where teenagers and their parents can come and join. We'd love for you to join our mission. So we say this consistently again and again and again and again. So people remember it. We call it the hero introduction, a short story which is given to, it's on our business card, it's on our website, it's a short story. So if I was to ask Chris, to say, Chris, what is your hero introduction? How would you introduce yourself in a couple of
seconds? It's very easy. You can call it the hero introduction. I call it the personal brand or the YOUPRENEUR statement. And I do this with all of our clients. My YOUPRENEUR statement is that I help people become the go-to leader in their industry and build a future-proof business. That's it. There's my hero story right there. I don't bring up the fact that I am scared of my wife like you are, or that I have beautiful kids, or a dog, or anything like that. But hey, you know what? If it works, man.
You know, I had a couple of people reach out to me and said, I was working on my introduction. I'm a leader of a very large company, and I'm worried. I said, why are you worried? Just go ahead and say it. He said, my problem is I don't have dogs. Some people just take it so literally. It's
right.
It's a lot of fun.
I think the key takeaway there is to, you know, again, it goes back to my message on uniqueness, right? Like there's only one of you guys doing what you're doing. There's only one of me doing the way I'm doing it, right? And I think that uniqueness, again, that's the word, that's everything right there, is because understand when you build the business of you, it cannot be copied. It doesn't matter what niche you're in or what industry you're in, when you're building a business based around your expertise and your personality and the people that you want to serve, it's 100% original. It cannot be copied. They can copy your course, they can copy your blog post, they can copy your style on video or on a podcast, but they can't copy the way you do things and the way you deliver and show up. And I think that's the big key, is that the originality factor is becoming more and more and more important right now, particularly with younger people. Because the younger folks are the ones that see the big vloggers and the PewDiePie and Mr. Beast and all these big TikTokers and all the rest of it, and they say, I want to do that. Yeah, okay, well do that, but do it your way. Like regardless of what that is, just do it your way. That's honestly the only way you're going to get the opportunity to be able to actually stand out. It's not by copying somebody else. That's for sure, you know?
Perfect. Raya?
Love that. Again, and I've asked our questions. Do you have another one?
Yeah, okay, sure, I have many. So in terms of when you give a blueprint, I've been through your book. I think it's truly, I'm not saying that because you're here on this. I truly from the heart believe that your book is one of the easiest ways for people to understand that a personal brand is a human brand, and anybody who wants to talk about themselves and work with them as the face of the brand, it's the easiest guide. And I know you put it into different chapters and all of that. I wish I had it here. I'm in the office, I'm locked down at home. But for all our viewers, can you talk a little bit about your book and what you teach inside that?
Yeah, I mean, the book is, it's entitled Rise of the YOUPRENEUR, and it's very much a call to action rather than also just a bit of a manual. But ultimately, that's exactly what it is. It's a manual it's a blueprint on how to build a profitable future-proof business around your personal brand. So regardless, again, of what niche you're in or what expertise or who you're serving, it doesn't matter. You can call yourself a youpreneur. I give you the permission to do it right now. And I think that, the big thing here, the big takeaway is that we've actually broken the book down into 3 main sections, right? Or 3 big talking points. And this is one of the biggest bits of feedback that we've had from people, is that it actually allows them to fast track the reading and the learning experience of the book itself. Because if you've already done all of the building stuff, right? There's a technical word right there. If you've done all that stuff already, then why should you be reading the first 90 plus pages of the book? It's pointless. Just go straight to the marketing. Likewise, if you've done the building and the marketing, and now you want to get serious about actually monetizing, skip to the last 100 pages and just dial down on that focus point there. Because the chances are you're not really going to learn that much more for the first couple of sections of the book. So I think by breaking it down into those 3 very distinct topics, people have been able to pick it up and kind of fan through it quite quickly and get to the point of where they are at their journey, and then continue that journey with me through the pages of the book. And there's a lesson to be learned there, and that is that everybody is on a different path, right? Like everybody is at a different stage in their journey, and you should not ever compare yourself with somebody's 80th or their 85th or their 500th step to your 3rd or your 4th or your 5th step. You shouldn't do that. That's where that whole imposter syndrome comes into play, and depression and anxiety. And quite frankly, what happens is people freeze and they say, well, I'll never have what that person's got. He or she is so far ahead of me. What's the point? I'll just give up now. And that's a bad thing to happen, because if you feel like you've got a voice and you've got a message that the world needs to hear, then you better continue, because truly the world genuinely does need to hear it, especially right now with everything that we're going through. So I think it's really key to just be able to pick up the book and just go to the part, of the journey, that overall journey as to where you are, and then pick it up from there. Don't waste time. Time is our most valuable commodity as a business owner. We should not be wasting it. We should be investing it.
100%. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to put the link to the book throughout the podcast over here. You said 2 very interesting things. You said, I give you permission. I do understand when I do coach with my own clients as well, sometimes they're looking for you to give them permission to say, yes, you can do it yourself. How much of it is it could be from insecurity, from how we were brought up and all of that, but they're senior leaders of very large companies running very successfully, large teams and all of that, and they're looking for permission. Can you talk a little bit about having somebody else give you permission?
You know what I think it is, and I've only really just figured this out in the last couple of years of coaching with thousands of people now, right? I believe the big issue is actually not a lack of confidence at all. With these types of individuals, right? These more, excelled, successful individuals that you're talking about. I think the main issue for these people is not a lack of confidence, because clearly they've got to where they are already by being confident individuals. I actually think it's fear of failure or fear of rejection that actually stops them from doing it. I've seen it over and over and over again. Now, you get this guy, could be a multi-millionaire who's created a product that everybody absolutely loves, yet they won't put themselves out there on a YouTube video talking about their 5 biggest tips to business success, because they don't want people to say bad things about them in the comment section or something like that. So I honestly feel like it's fear of failure or fear of rejection that stops people.
Love that. That's the big claim, Okay, understood. You also said one more thing which really resonated with me and will resonate with all the people who are listening to this. You said that it's not a launch. You said when my products come out, they are for the people and from the people. So do you run surveys to your community asking them which are the 20 things that you want to learn, and out of them you put the top 5 and build a course?
Yeah,
is there a strategy?
that's exactly what happens.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens. And the surveys can be sometimes just one question via email, or sometimes it'll be 10, 12, 15 questions on like a Survey Monkey page or something like that. So it really depends on what season we're in as a business. Not the time of the year, but in terms of like, where we are, what we're currently doing, who we're doing it for. We literally just did a survey last week to about 1,000 people on our list who had clicked through a number of different emails, which ultimately self-selected them as a potential pool of prospects for a new coaching initiative that we want to launch in the middle of the year. And I was a little 50-50 as to whether now would be a good time to do it or not with everything that's going on. But let me tell you, it was only a 3-question survey, but we got all the validation that we needed from those people to go ahead and actually do the launch, because clearly they need the help now just as much as we thought they would do. So without that validation, my fear of rejection, my fear of doing things and not having it be successful might have stunted us from potentially launching an initiative, a coaching program that will now no doubt probably help at least a couple of hundred people and make me a load of money in the process. So thank you for playing. So the validation is very, very, very important.
Love it. So Chris, as we mentioned that Raya, Abhiana and me, I travel back and forth. I've got an agency. We started with a 4-member team, came to 225 people. Because of that, I travel a lot back and forth. The kids are in Vancouver, I'm in India back. So we said we should build an online school, because the kids are interested in digital marketing. They love what daddy is doing. We go for social media marketing world. We go for all the conferences around the world. Mom doesn't like it, but we miss school. Mom is like, show up at school. We need to show up at these conferences as well. So we take time out, we go all of that. Raya's like, I love the conferences. Raya personally knows every social media influencer on the planet. She can reach out to them way better than I can. Can I leave school, Dad, right now? I said, maybe not right now. Let's give it a couple of years. So what we're genuinely building right now is saying, Raya's 14 years old, I'm 43 years old. I want to stop traveling around the world. So 1 year back, we started sending videos to people. We started doing webinars. We started doing our courses online to say, if we can transform 40-50% of our business online, daddy will be able to spend more time at home, A. And second, what we're doing is from 14 to 18, Raya's going to study, and then she wants to decide what she wants to do in the future. In the interim, we've got 4 years to build the internet moguls of the world as one of, I don't want to say the biggest, because we don't want to go big. We want to go, best for according to what we're doing. And our online school, we want people to come and learn courses, see podcasts, meet people like yourselves. And Raya and I and Abhiana, we decided that we wanted to be a school because the girls said, why can't kids come in? Why can't only family members come in? Why can't everybody from the family come in and say, this is digital marketing, this is personal branding, why can't it be mainstream? So this is what we are trying to build. Hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks, the lockdown opens up, and the next flight in the morning I'm going to take back, and we'll start doing our work together from where we are. But in the interim, we're doing videos every day, we're doing interviews every day. The girls woke up at 2 a.m. at night, so they're hustling as much as they can. What would be your advice to the 3 entrepreneurs, all of us together, on how we should build this school and make it? It's not about the online courses, it's not about the podcast, it's not only about those products, but it's also about bringing the families together and sharing our stories so that more families come into the school.
Well, I think that's what you need to do. You need to share your story more and more and more and more and more, because it's relatable, quite frankly. It's relatable to parents with children of similar ages as the girls here. It's also relatable to other kids of similar age as well. And girls, be vocal. Don't let your dad do all the talking, for real. Be as vocal as you're comfortable being, and talk about what you're doing and the reasons behind it wherever you get the opportunity to do it. And don't worry about the mindset might be, oh my gosh, I gotta say this again now, like I'm repeating myself. No, because every time you go live, every time you post something, every time you share something anywhere, there will be people that see it, whether it be immediately or a little bit further down the track. who have seen it for the very first time. And that's why it's very, very important to tell your story over and over again. Remember what I said in regards to being consistent with your language, right? It's not just about in the written word as well, it's also in the spoken word. And you know, right now, video is everything. I would be doubling down on everything that you're doing in terms of outreach. Send a personal video message, not a long email, right? All these things that you can be doing. Video is everything right now. And I think it's by the end of this year, Google said that 85% of all search results shown will be video.
Right.
Who owns YouTube?
Right.
Google. So it's very, very important to be as active as you possibly can on YouTube, but also, again, using that platform to get people back to your hub, to your website as well. I will say, not that this is something that you need to necessarily think about right now, but if you want this to truly go worldwide and be all about the families, you might want to rethink the name a little bit. Allow me to go into coach mode here a little bit, right? Because internet moguls, for me, personally, as a parent, as an older individual, it's not very family friendly sounding. It's not very kid friendly. You know, a mogul is somebody who is kind of like, you know, a leader, a hustler, a grinder, and all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily as family friendly as it potentially could be. So I'm not saying that you have to change it, but I would maybe think about the name a little bit in terms of the long-term ramifications of continuing to use it. And if you do decide to carry on using it, what you truly then need is a really short, sharp, powerful subtitle or a subheading or a tagline of some variety that is no more than 5-6 words, really punchy, really obvious. When I read it, okay, Internet Moguls is about helping families build these kind of businesses. I get it. You know, that's the reality that you want people to have.
Got it. No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. You clarified so many things and revalidated so many things on so many fronts. This which was supposed to be an interview for the audience has become a coaching session for me more than anything else.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, that's okay. You know, the only reason I first started podcasting 10 years ago now, it is literally 10 years in April that I've been podcasting. The only reason I started was very selfish reasons. I wanted to speak with people that were already there and doing things that I wanted to do myself. And so I thought, you know what? I'll start a podcast, I'll interview people, I'll lean into their egos a little bit, and I'll get them to ultimately give me the free business, you know, MBA that I need to be able to grow a successful online business. And now I've got 3 of them. So it worked for me, it'll work for you too, don't worry. You're doing the right thing.
Girls, you understand? You want to reach out to somebody, you should not hold back. Chris, just to share with you, the girls have done almost 60 plus micro videos, 50 plus micro videos, and sent them to people around the world. And you know, we got about 20 replies saying, we love the way you sent it, send the emails and the videos. We
Great.
sent it to Ariana Huffington. She loved what we did, and she immediately emailed the girls back and said, I'm featuring this on my blog post or Huffington post, and we got featured over there. So the girls are hustling. Working hard is a better word. Because Raya
again, more family friendly. Like when you think of a hustler,
sure,
as an older person,
right,
it could be a con man,
of course,
right?
Of course, I get that, right. Somebody on the sidewalk and trying to hustle a few. Yeah. The saying, yeah, absolutely. Girls, before we asked for we are about 6-7 minutes shy of finishing this up. Girls, Raya, you have anything for your Instagram channel? Anything on how you're building this school you want to ask?
I would say that I saw your YouTube video and I love how you open it up with such, I just saw like a few, but you opened it up with such excitement, like I wanted to watch. So what would you say, for me personally, like you don't even have to include this in, are good ways of exciting the audience to watch in the first few seconds? Because the first few seconds are the most crucial.
Yeah, I mean, they call it the hook for the reason, right? For a very good reason. If you think about when you go fishing, the first part of catching a fish is to hook it, right? In the side of the mouth. So that's what you want to do with your viewers. You want to try and, slam that hook into the side of the mouth and pull them into the video. And really, the reason, honestly, like, this is honest truth, like, the reason why I'm so excited is because I'm just so happy and so blessed to be in a position to be able to show up and help people. And I think if you come from that mentality, if you have that, that focus as well, that's like 90% of it right there. There's a lot of people that are doing stuff on YouTube because they think it's going to end up making them money. I don't think I'm going to make money from YouTube. In fact, I know I'm not going to make a whole lot of money from YouTube, but I do know that it will lead to money in other ways, and it will lead to impact first and foremost, way before that money comes along. And that's what drives me. But the big thing is, you've got to really give them the promise. Like, what's the promise? Why should they stick around? What problem are you going to be solving for them in that video? So we just recently published a video a couple of days ago on tools that remote teams can use, right? So it's stuff like Zoom and Trello and Google Drive, Google Docs, stuff like that. It's pretty boring, right? It's not the sexiest topic to talk about, right? It's pretty boring, but it's about the promise of being able to be a more productive, a more efficient business owner working with remote teams around the world. And so that's what's in the hook of that video. It's about, if you're like a lot of people right now, you're actually working at home. Your productivity might have dropped, but I'm about to give you 5 tools that will help you boost your productivity and manage your team more efficiently than ever before. Don't go away. There's your hook right there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it will come easier. The more you do it, it'll just come very naturally, like I've just done it just there. It'll slowly but surely become easier and easier and easier. You'll struggle at first, but the hook is the most important part of the video. So, YouTube is all about watch time, right? So, that's everything right there. You've got to get people to stick around, to spend some time. I know some YouTubers will spend 5 times as much on their, 10, 15 second hook than they will do on a 10-minute video, because it's so important to get it right, to make sure that people stick around.
Perfect. This was incredible. Chris, like I said, God has blessed us with a couple of things. I was 18 years old. All I wanted to do in life was to race street cars. I used to steal my car, dad's car, in the middle of the night, go out racing, bet with a couple of people, and I thought this betting business will continue. My dad happened to have a bit of a family issue with some of his relatives, so he lost his house, and he said, I can't send you for studying, I can't send you everywhere. He had a small 27-room motel that he said, either you join the motel or get out of the house, there's no other option. Next morning at 7 a.m. I found myself behind my dad's reception, a small hotel. Long story short, a new phenomena on the market called the internet. We were the first ever hotel in the country, except the 6, 7, 5-star hotels that went online. My website was the first to be ranked on Google, the first guys who did PPC. We stumbled upon it. I didn't know why I was doing it, but it just happened. Google was not in India. We used to call them up, and it used to take 1 week, 10 days to get something called a paid campaign started. All of that started happening. Business grew in the next 2 years. We had 1 small motel, and in the next 5-7 years, we were able to build 4 of them. So everything changed, including my relationship with my dad. Now I'm having strategy discussions with the gentleman who wanted to throw me out of the house. That was phase 1. Then we got into travel websites, and I wanted to get more people coming from the UK and Spain and the US. People take 6 months to decide whether to come to India. So I picked up my mom's camera. I used to make videos, put a map at the back and say, I'll take you to these places. And we started doing that. Affiliate business, or that business happened when the word got around in 2006, 7, 8, that there's this guy who's been doing it for 10 years, something called internet marketing. That's when TripAdvisor and Facebook and Google, all of them had come to India. There was a very small ecosystem for internet marketing. They all came in, and they got to, they started calling me for speaking at various events. I started speaking. People said, we love your story. Can you do this for us? And that's when in 2009, we started a company called Internet Moguls, which was a digital marketing agency. We started with a 4-member team. Today, we became a 225-member team. And then just 2 years back, to be able to find more fulfilling work, which I can do with my kids, we started online coaching, training, the other digital marketing side of it, the non-agency work, coaching, training, webinars, and all of that. So I don't know how we're going to come out of this challenging situation, because every business except the coaching business is severely challenged. But still, God has helped us to be able to develop multiple businesses in the last few years. Why I'm telling you all of this is to be able to share my story and to say that if there is anything that me or my audience of 55,000 that we built in the last 1 year, very engaged, very smart, entrepreneurial. If there's a new book or a podcast or anything today, tomorrow, in the future, next 5 years, 1 year, please give us an opportunity to say thank you to you for helping Raya, Aviana, and me by saying that you have a partner in India who's ready to do anything. Just ask your secretary to send us an email.
You got it. Absolutely, man. I will keep it in mind without a doubt. And you know what? The trip to India for us has been on the cards for the last few years. My wife is a very, very devoted Ashtanga yoga practitioner. And so the focus has always been to get to the motherland and train over there and all the rest of it. I'm just going to turn up for the food.
You know what,
I don't practice yoga, but I do like the food.
There are debates that UK has better Indian food than India now.
You might be right, actually. There's some pretty darn good Indian restaurants here in England. You're absolutely right.
Chris, I called up a friend of mine a couple of years back, and I said I live in 2 countries. I live in Vancouver and I live in India, and I go back and forth. And there are a lot of masterminds and collaborations happening with amazing people like Chris and Pat and all of that. We should have a collaboration, a mastermind, and not think of each other as competition. And let's do something similar in India. So about a year back, 9 of us got together and collaborated, and we said, let's do big events in India and teach people digital marketing and coaching. And that in 1 year blew up, and now we're one of the largest digital marketing communities. We did an event with 3,300 people turning up for the webinar day before yesterday, and we're doing a 6,000 person webinar on the 26th. So why I'm sharing with all of this with you is that I want to be offering my help for anything that we can do on whatever we've built. And because somewhere between Pat Flynn and Chris Tucker and all of those, the readings, your books and everything have influenced me to build whatever I've built. So if I can get the opportunity to thank you back in any way, I'm just an email or a WhatsApp or WeChat away. I
appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you very much. Girls, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go, let's grab a selfie. I'll share it and make sure that I post it up on Instagram for you guys, okay? And what you need to do, actually, find me on Instagram at Chris Ducker, drop me a message with your profiles, and I'll be sure to tag you in the photo when I post it, okay? I won't post it until you tell me. Okay, here we go, let's do a photo. You ready? Okay, try not to look sleepy, girls, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. See, well, that looks great. We look good. I'll save it and then I'll post it later once you let me know what your IDs are, okay?
Perfect. I'll do that right away. Chris, thank you very much. This means a lot to the daddy-daughter venture. And once all the videos are up, once the coffee table book is printed, once we're going to do a big launch with a summit and everything, once everything is done, I'll send you all the details. And
Sounds great. I look forward to seeing it all.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Once again, this is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. Thanking our friends.
I think you want to be a streetcar racer though, more than anything else. I can just tell with your vibe. That's your real passion, right?
You know what? Ask the girls how we make sure that every time we go for a vacation, there has to be a NASCAR kind of a track that takes 2 hours off.
Girls, just go along with it, okay? Remember, he buys everything you want because you're girls and he's a dad. Remember that. Just go along with it all. Go along with it.
That's the best advice you've got, guys. Note that down. Great.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of the day, night, evening, all that good stuff. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.